Hello, friend, and welcome to Inside the Dark. Thank you for joining me. It was a beautiful, sunny day in Miami Gardens, Florida, and 10-year-old Kamari Graham was excited to be celebrating his birthday on February 8th of 2025. His family planned on taking him to the movies with a friend to celebrate, and neither they nor young Kamari had any idea it would be his last. As a matter of fact, when Kamari's mother loaded her family, including Kamari's grandmother, his 3 siblings, his friend, and his mother's partner, 8 in all, into her car, none of them knew the nightmare they were about to be hit with, literally. But as they drove to the movie theater on that nice sunny day to celebrate Kamari turning 10, a car driving over 99 miles an hour sped into the back of them, causing a horrific crash that pushed their car into a car in front of them. They were hit by a speeding drunk driver, and their car was crushed. Initial reports of the crash reported that 5 of the passengers in Kamari's mother's vehicle were killed, and 3 were left in critical condition. But police have since corrected that to 4 passengers lost their lives, and 3 are left in critical condition. So some initial news reports reported inaccurate information, and so did police in their press conference. Warning: the following news clip contains scenes that you may find disturbing. It involves a violent car crash and loud crash sounds.
The update on a tragic crash that we've been following that left a woman and 3 children dead in Miami Gardens.
We know the driver taken into custody was going nearly 100 miles an hour at the time and had been drinking. Home surveillance video capturing the horrible moment of impact with debris sent flying all over the roadway.
Local 10 crime specialist Bridget Matter live in Miami Gardens with more tonight. Bridget.
Well, the driver that caused this, according to police, was driving 99 miles per hour and driving drunk. The impact was so violent, 3 children and 1 adult was killed. Now another child is here at the hospital fighting for his life. On Saturday, 3 children and 1 woman were killed when a speeding drunk driver slammed into this white car. It was crushed against the SUV in front of them in Miami Gardens. 2 other children were rushed to the hospital, including Destiny Rose's 7-year-old Cyrus Rankin. He remains in the hospital tonight.
It's my firstborn, my baby.
Rosa opened up to Local 10 about the crash and when she knew something happened.
As soon as he left my house, I started tracking his location and he wasn't moving, and I just knew something was wrong.
Cyrus was on the way to the movies with his friends, 8-year-old Zarina McCall, 10-year-old Irina Johnson, and 10-year-old Kamari Graham, who were all killed. The children were celebrating Kamari's 10th birthday. The little one's 51-year-old grandmother, Rosa Jones, also died in the wreck. 3 others from the car were hospitalized, 2 adults and a 13-year-old girl. Miami Gardens police say 8 people were in the car when 25-year-old Antonio Wilcox slammed into them at 99 miles per hour and was intoxicated behind the wheel.
The throttle was all the way down.
Wilcox remains in the hospital, being treated for his injuries as police continue their investigation, calling him reckless with no regard for human life.
This has been the worst accident that I have witnessed.
Wilcox was in Miami Gardens visiting from Naples. We went to his listed address in Naples, but no one came to the door. Wilcox right now is facing 4 counts of vehicular homicide, and he will face additional charges. Right now, he remains in the hospital. He'll be transferred down to Miami-Dade County and will be held on no bond. For now, we're live in Hollywood. Bridget Matter, Local 10 News.
Right.
We begin with very sad breaking news. A woman and 4 children are dead tonight after a crash in Miami Gardens. This is a look at the scene where you can see multiple damaged vehicles. This all happening along Northwest 37th Avenue between 171st Street and 169th Street. We brought this story to you first on CBS News Miami at 7, and we have Nakaya Carrero live at the scene with what we know so far about this horrific incident. Nakaya.
Chelsea, Miami Gardens Police Department is calling this a mass casualty because 4 kids and a woman did die after their vehicle was smashed into in the back by another car. Now I'm going to step out so you can see what we're seeing out here at this time. There is only 1 car left on scene that's getting ready to tow away. Now what we do know is all 5 victims were in the same car. We do have surveillance video of the crash, but we do want to warn you it may be difficult to watch. In a surveillance video from a home along Northwest 37th Avenue, you see the aftermath of a horrific crash. People running up after hearing the moment of impact from inside their homes. According to Miami Gardens police, shortly before 6 p.m., a black Kia Sorento hit a white Altima with 6 people inside, pushing it into a silver Cadillac Escalade before crashing into a fence.
There were several vehicles involved. We can definitely confirm that speed was a factor and alcohol was also a factor.
Police say an Opelika police officer was on his way into work and witnessed the entire crash. Miami-Dade Fire Rescue says people had to be cut out of a car. Multiple adults and children were taken to hospitals, including a child who was airlifted.
I understand that, when you're dealing with an incident of this magnitude, time is of the essence.
Detectives revealed the driver at fault in the black Kia is 25-year-old Antonio Wilcox Jr. Police say after the accident, he opened his driver door and fell. He is being charged with 5 counts of vehicular homicide as traffic homicide detectives continue their investigation.
We are going to be out here all night until we can answer every single question that our law enforcement professionals have.
Now, Miami Gardens police did tell us additional charges could come about as they await Wilcox's toxicology results. Now, he was taken to the hospital, but they tell us he's in stable condition. He walked away from this crash with no serious injuries. Chelsea?
And Nakai, we know there may be other people involved in this crash. Can you give us an update or any indication from police what we know about them?
That's right, Chelsea. The silver car behind me, that Cadillac that is still on the scene that they're about to tow away, they say there were people in that vehicle, but they are unsure at this time of how many people went to the hospital, were taken to the hospital. So they're working to confirm how many people were actually involved in this crash. Of course, we'll bring you the latest as soon as we have it on air and online on CBS News Miami.
Well, tonight, friends and neighbors huddle around a family grieving 5 relatives killed in a weekend crash in Miami Gardens. Those killed include 4 children and their grandmother. Survivors include a 7-year-old boy, and tonight his mom spoke to CBS News Miami's Larry Seward. Larry is live tonight at Miami Gardens. And Larry, what is that 7-year-old's condition tonight?
Jim, according to his mom, Cyrus Rankin is sedated, has a broken leg, but is otherwise doing okay considering the circumstances. He is getting treatment tonight along with 2 other adults pulled from that car. One of them lives in the home directly behind me where friends and neighbors are leaving symbols of love and hope.
They laid teddy bears and wrapped pink, white, and blue flowers around the doorknob. Neighbors and friends delivering balloons to a family suffocating in grief. This weekend crash killed 5 people, including 4 children.
It means the world to me. It means everything. I love my baby. It's not gone.
Ronald McCall lost 2 daughters, 9-year-old Azaria and 11-year-old Ariana. Saturday, they were in that white car with 5 others, 2 other siblings, their mom, grandmother, another adult, and the children's 7-year-old friend Cyrus Rankin. Off camera, Rankin's mom told us the group was headed to a movie to celebrate a birthday for one of the siblings. But on this stretch of Northwest 37th Avenue, surveillance cameras caught a black SUV slam into the car. Rankin's mom says her son was the only survivor in the back seat. He was on the passenger side until the impact ejected him. Rankin broke a leg. His mom says Cyrus is okay, but doctors are keeping him sedated. She feels lucky because the other 4 children in the back seat and their grandmother died. The SUV's driver, 25-year-old Antonio Wilcox Jr., faces 5 counts of vehicular homicide. Police say speed and alcohol played roles in the crash.
That's Azaria.
The 2 adult survivors in the car include Azaria and Ariana's mother. Most family did not want to speak on camera.
Oh my gosh.
Even McCall struggled to find words.
Can't be drinking and driving, man. And it's hard to lose your babies, man. It's crazy, man. I ain't gonna see my babies again.
Dozens of neighbors here crowded a candlelight vigil for those victims. There are plenty of children here who lost friends. Meanwhile, the driver charged could face other trouble depending what investigators find in his toxicology reports. Live in Miami Gardens tonight, Larry Seward, CBS News, Miami.
Painful story, Larry. Thank you.
The drunken speeding driver was identified as 25-year-old Antonio Wilcox, and police say he appeared to have sped up as he approached the car he hit, and the crash was intentional. The Miami Gardens police said their investigation shows Wilcox was accelerating at the point of impact. The horrific crash took the lives of 51-year-old Rosa Mae Jones and 3 children, 10-year-old Irina Johnson, 8-year-old Zarina McCall, and 10-year-old Kamari Graham. The children's mother, her daughter, 13-year-old Kamira Graham, and Kamari's little 7-year-old friend, Cyrus Rankin, are currently in the hospital in critical condition. Reports say the mother of the children who died in the crash has been unconscious and does not yet know that her children are gone.
New details tonight in the deadly crash that killed 3 young children and their grandmother in Miami Gardens. Police have arrested and charged Antonio Wilcox Jr. Investigators say he was driving at nearly 100 miles per hour when he crashed into the other car, which had 8 people inside.
NBC 6's Kim Winters live at the Broward County Jail this evening with the latest. Kim.
Yeah, that's right. Wilcox has been charged with 4 counts of vehicular homicide. This as family members of the surviving victims pray for a miracle. This is the mugshot of 25-year-old Antonio Wilcox Jr., now charged with the deadly crash which killed 3 children and their grandmother Saturday night. Police say Wilcox was allegedly driving 99 miles per hour when he crashed into a white Nissan Altima near Northwest 170th Street and 37th Avenue in Miami Gardens.
Mr. Wilcox was driving at approximately 99 miles per hour, accelerating at the point of impact. The throttle was all the way down.
Investigators say 8 people were inside the car, including 5 children and 3 adults who were all on their way to the movies to celebrate a birthday. Police say Wilcox was driving under the influence and will be tested for additional factors that may have contributed to his impairment. A family friend tells us that the children's mother, Danica, is still in the hospital but is unresponsive. Another sibling, 13-year-old Kamira Graham, is in critical condition.
My firstborn, my baby.
7-year-old Cyrus Rankin was also in the car and remains in critical condition. We spoke with his mother yesterday, who didn't want to show her face.
He's such a good kid. My first baby, my everything. I had him at 15, and he's been by my hip since. Never let him go with anybody. He's always with me. So I'm just please asking everybody to please pray. Please, please.
And Wilcox was arrested back in 2022 in Collier County for battery. That case was later dismissed. For now, we're reporting live in Fort Lauderdale. Kim Wynn, NBC 6 News.
In another strange twist of fate in this horrific story, the father of 2 of the victims spoke with the news, sharing his devastation after learning about the loss of his precious daughters. In the interview, he shared that he learned about the crash the morning after, when he himself was released from jail for a DUI.
A family is mourning after 3 siblings and their grandmother were killed in a violent crash over the weekend.
NBC6 reporter Laura Rodriguez joins us live in Miami Gardens with more. And she spoke to the father of 2 of the children and an aunt. They must be devastated, Laura.
They are devastated, and it's not just a family that's devastated. It's also a Miami Gardens neighborhood, specifically this community where I'm at right now. You can tell it's a very tight-knit community. Kids are playing right now behind me, and many of them have approached me and told me how much these kids are greatly missed. Parents of those other children also saying it's been difficult to have these conversations with their children about their friends who died. Now, family members are telling us that at the time of the crash, there were 8 people inside that Nissan Altima.
It's hard.
Ronald McCall can't believe he has to lay his daughters to rest. 9-year-old Azaria and 11-year-old Iriana were headed to the movies with their other siblings, their mother, mother's partner, and grandmother when the driver of a black Kia Sorento rear-ended them at full speed.
They'll never be back again. Now I'm left for only 2.
Family members say Kamari Graham, who was celebrating his 10th birthday, was also killed. 13-year-old Kamaria is fighting for her life as well as their mother.
Anybody who has a heart, feel for this family. And it's not okay what they're going through.
I'm going to miss them. I'm really going to miss them. I'm not trying not to cry, y'all, but I'm going to miss my babies.
The father of the 2 girls says the morning after the crash, he was actually released from jail for DUI himself and arrived home to the tragic news.
So don't drink and drive. I get out and lose my baby to drinking and drive.
Miami Gardens police say they will provide additional updates tomorrow morning, but they do say that this man will face several charges of vehicular homicide. Reporting live in Miami Gardens, I'm Laura Rodriguez, NBC6 News.
Antonia Wilcox's mother told the news that her son has struggled with schizophrenia for many years and that she doesn't believe he was drunk. She thinks he suffered a manic episode. But police disagree, and they say that alcohol was definitely a factor in the crash. Here's the initial press conference held by police right after the crash. But at this point, they were confirming that 5 were dead. They have since corrected that number to 4. They have not released any information on the people in the car Wilcox pushed Kamari's mom's car into.
Whenever you guys are ready.
We are. Go ahead with your name and title.
All right. Emmanuel Genti, Executive Officer.
For Miami Gardens.
Hold on.
You gotta spell your first and last name.
Emmanuel Genti, E-M-M-A-N-U-E-L, Genti, J-E-A-N-T-Y, Executive Officer, Miami Gardens Police Department. Ready to go. At approximately 5:57 this afternoon, a call for service came in, referenced a vehicle accident. Upon officers' arrival, they observed a multiple vehicle crash that occurred between 169th Street and 171st Street. Preliminary investigation reveals that it was several vehicles involved, and at this time we can confirm that there's 5 fatalities. It's going to be 1 adult female and 4 children.
Can you tell us a little bit about the vehicles involved? Like, how did it all transpire?
There were several vehicles involved. We can definitely confirm that speed was a factor and alcohol was also a factor.
What do you make of that? You have 1 adult dead and 4 children. Obviously a tough night here.
It's a very tough night for our community. It's a very tough night for our officers responding to the scene. It's a very tough night for fire rescue personnel and our officers who had to triage the patients on scene.
So we know the at-fault driver said to be detained. Can you elaborate on that?
Yes, the at-fault driver did remain on scene, and the at-fault driver is detained at this moment.
Do we know about the victims? Were they all related? Were they all in the same car? How does that work?
Yes, they were all in the same car.
Which car was that? Can you reiterate?
White Nissan Altima.
Alcohol was a factor. Was that the at-fault driver was possibly intoxicated?
Repeat that?
Did you say alcohol was a factor?
Yes, alcohol was a factor.
For who? The alcohol driver?
Yes.
Did they do a sobriety test or breathalyzer?
No, that information is not available at this time.
And then we do see a Cadillac Escalade. Do we know anything about the people that were in that vehicle?
No, we're unable to report that at this time. Again, it's a very tough time. Again, for all parties involved, even here reporting on this, it is difficult. But all we ask for is that the community pray for the officers, pray for fire rescue, pray for all the folks that are out here day in and day out, diligently responding to these types of calls for service.
In terms of charges, pending charges, what's for the driver at fault?
Right now, the investigation is still unfolding. We don't have that information at this time.
The people who were in the car that were transported to the hospital, do we know what hospitals they were taken to? We know the way they were transported to the hospital. We understand that one of them was airlifted.
Yes. Yeah, we can confirm one was airlifted, and the hospital that they were taken to was the hospital in Broward. Yes. And understand that, when you're dealing with an incident of this magnitude, time is of the essence. So whatever type of medical services or vehicles are available at the time, that's what's gonna play a factor on where they go and how everything is set up. So we can say, yeah, there were some folks that were airlifted and also transported by ground.
One question, obviously we see this is a very large scene on the scale. We see the vehicles are still on scene hours after it happened. When can people who usually drive along 37th Avenue expect for it to open back up?
At this time, I wish I can give you an update, but it is too early to tell, as we are going to be out here all night until we can answer every single question that our law enforcement professionals have to provide an accurate update to the community.
And then a two-parter. Is this technically classified as a mass casualty? And then how many were injured overall?
Yes, with the vehicle accident of this magnitude, yeah, we can classify it as a mass casualty. We don't know how many was injured in total. We were just able to confirm the fatalities, as that information is very crucial to the investigation.
So, with just one question. So, obviously you investigate as a crash, multiple injuries, and now it's turning into a homicide. How does that change the investigations?
It's going to be a lot of moving parts, right? And I can tell you that the detectives that are investigating this crash are from our traffic homicide unit. I can share that information with you.
Chief, do you have anything to say?
All right, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
May the victims of this horrible crash who lost their lives rest in peace. And may those still in the hospital fighting for their lives pull through. Happy heavenly birthday, Kamari. You and your family deserved so much better than what happened to you. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Inside the Dark. Take care, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel, where I'll be waiting to take you back inside the dark.